At this time, we'd like to open the floor up to public comments. Again, we would wish that you would limit yourself to 5 minutes each. Step forward.
I think everybody can hear me. I just want to say that it just thrills my heart that this Christus is based on Jesus Christ.
Amen.
We have prayed every day, and I believe that this is God's answer. I know He uses people, and we have prayed diligently for this board, that God would cause you to make those right decisions and be unified in that. And I see that. This is my first meeting to come to, and I'm just totally impressed with this board. I just want to cry at all the hours that you put into this. So thank you. Thank you from my heart. But thank you, Christus.
Thank you. My name is Billy Groves, a.k.a. Hollywood. I just want to say this. As a black man and a citizen of Crockett, and a man who's been around a little while, I hear people talking about God a lot, including Jim Jones historically. They took a lot of my people out and fed them poison. I just want to say this. The board, it looks like some type of confederation. There are no black people there. There's one guy, he's not here. But my thing is, I want people, you benefit from knowing things, not from just taking a solid narrative based on stuff that you really don't know. And I've been talking about fake news lately. The internet is full of it. People build the last people we brought in here, they had a strong internet presence. It looked like they were taking care of all kind of business. And we know that in the Confederation, the same thing historically would happen once before. We go with whoever we feel like we like, despite the facts. I'm not saying these people are not God people, but even if they are God people, and I believe they may be, you still got to respect other people. God is a forgiving God. He forgives people. So if I'm making a mistake, they can forgive me. But I got to speak what God told me to speak. And He's told me to bring things to view. We got to have inclusion of our people. We've got a large amount of African American people here, but they have little to do. They almost live in a colony type atmosphere. They're strong in their colony, but they don't have anything to do with the real leadership. I've never seen anybody on this board stop to talk to ask black people what they thought about it. Why? Well, they said we couldn't play quarterback for a long time. I know I'm making people mad, but guess what? That's what I do, because any society that doesn't oppose things that have went bad, especially when I fought for the last hospital that was here. See, the local news didn't carry the fact that we tried to keep ETMC here. ETMC was ran out because of Obamacare and a narrative about people getting free stuff that didn't deserve it. We had a powerful hospital here at one time. And I don't know anything about these gentlemen here, but if they talking about God, I'm with God. That's all I know. I don't know love from man. I know love from God. That's all I know. So I would just like for you people to be more open with the public and quit just making declarations based on the power. We know y'all got power. If you wouldn't have had power, you wouldn't have voted the last hospital out. You had cars, but you didn't think about the people that didn't have cars, that couldn't afford insurance, that was getting treated good. So I want to say this going forward. Let's listen to the people. Don't just be dominant in your decision, because we watch a lot of strong people, including this president we got, take over through power. But a lot of times you got to have inclusion. And I just want to thank y'all for letting me speak, and think about that. And if you're really a God person, you're not mad at me. Your mind is open. Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else want to say anything?
Let me say a few words. Can everybody hear me? If you can't hear me, you're the lucky one. Okay. My name is Benford Purcell, and what I want to talk about is tax. I'm gonna give you people a little lesson on bank. How many of you know what the value of this county is in, tax, it's got a tax base to it?
$1 billion. 1 billion.
How much?
Later, $1 billion.
It's 1,420,000,000.
Off cut of $1 billion.
That's right, that's exactly. I bet the source where it came from, that's not. This board, through the years, they kept the taxes way down. And you look around and you say, that's good. Well, that's not a good idea. Sometimes when you go up 1 or 2 a year, then you get to the place. Just like, for example, if this board or this hospital district had a 40 cent on this, they would bring in $5,120,000 compared to the about $1 million they bring in. So what's the real problem is the cash flow. We got more outgo than we got income. And I'm real experienced in that because I've had that all my life. So I can talk about it. Another thing that I read in the paper, and I think this is a mistake, that this hospital has $1,500,000 payroll a month. Now that don't sound right. I read it in the paper.
That was the payroll when Timberlands was running the hospital.
Okay, it was 174 people working here. That was a tough, that was an average of $8,520 a month for each individual, or $102,000 a year. When the average salary in this county is about 25 or less. That's all I got to say.
I don't want to get down in the weeds too much on this. But when we were doing the financials, did I hear correctly that we paid Timberland for July $165,000 for indigent care after they had already exited?
That was June.
Oh, that was June,
They paid us rent and we paid them indigent care.
but nothing for July.
Nothing for July.
Thank you.
Mike Brown, I got a question for the board. I'm gonna ask 2 or 3 things. I want you to raise your hand at the end. If you was here when we had $1 million on hand, and if you was on the board when, made that crazy deal with ETMC to buy that building, and if you was on the board when you borrowed $3.5 million, and if you was on the board, well, there's things we don't even know about, y'all, money spent, which is crazy. If you have, would you please raise your hand on those things?
John and I-
Okay.
Well, we were involved with the ETMC negotiation and everything forward.
If you was here when they had the $4 million on hand, if you was here when you done the deal with the ETMC for the building, if you was here on the board with the $3.5 million, would you please raise your hand?
Because you were there with ETMC.
That's fine.
Well, we building anyway, everybody.
Y'all was on there, the only one on there was Tommy. I don't know if you was on there. Okay. Okay, you that was on the board at that time for all those 3 things, I would ask that you resign from your position.
Give us the.
No, I'm asking, y'all been irresponsible for spending money like that. Good people.
I'm Jim Dow. I've been on the board for maybe a year and 4 or 5 months. And when I got on the board, first of all, when I hear things that people think that the board is not cognizant of the needs of the community or doesn't give them serious thought and consideration, it doesn't irritate me, it really pains me. Because I can assure you that one thing I noticed right out of the gate is the compassion of the board members for the healthcare and the people in our community who are in need of it, the indigent and the less fortunate. And I just want to go on record as saying that because it was really touching when I got in there for my first meeting and I started listening to these things. And it became apparent that that was maybe the number one goal the board had, was to make sure that people who didn't have the means to go elsewhere for health care had access to it. As far as the debt, all I could say when I got on there was, it's a lot of debt. And I thought, well, why? And it became apparent that what the board was buying was time. ETMC was gone. And if we didn't accrue that debt to run the hospital would have been gone. As far as I can tell. Now, maybe not, but when I did pencil to paper, if we didn't accrue that debt, and I wasn't on the board when it happened, and I wish we didn't have it. So when I question why we had it, all I can think of is they were buying time, running the hospital. We had a third party in to run the hospital to keep it alive until we could find a partner to come run the hospital. And there's a lot of red tape, because I threw a lot of ideas out there that were basically you couldn't do because there was some regulation against it. So I learned a lot. So the rope on that was getting toward the end when we started talking to Little River. And so obviously, who wouldn't want to have that one back? And we didn't know what was going to happen. But we did know that the hospital was going to close pretty soon if that option didn't arise. I don't think we're in worse financial position as a board than we were before Little River came. Now, there's been a lot of people hired that had jobs and got relocated, and a lot of people hurt by that. And I'm very upset about that, but there's nothing we can do about that. But the position of the district, I don't think, is any worse than when they first came. Now we have a chance with an outfit from Christus that, quite frankly, a lot of people know them a lot better than they did Little River, and they have a better reputation. I didn't even know anything about Little River, but I have certainly heard of Christus before. And I just want people to understand that. I mean, nobody's happy about that debt. I was not happy about the debt. But when I don't think we'd had a hospital when I was on the board if that debt wasn't there. Now, I could be wrong, and another board member can correct me, but I just want to assure everybody that when I come to these meetings, the healthcare of the community and the people who are is the number one priority, and they're doing anything they can to make sure that we continue to provide that if we can. So.
Several people have referenced the fact that we're doing things behind the community's back. There are laws that are set up. We can't even meet without calling a public meeting and putting it in the paper. Everything that we do is open by law. If we do not, if we're not forthright with that, then we get in big trouble, big trouble. So I really, I just take issue with you saying we're doing things behind closed doors and behind your back. We can't do that. We can't. It's against the law.
I gotta figure nothing out. I'll be okay. One of the things that I can tell you, I've been here since 2015, just shortly after ETMC left. And I'm the IT guy here. So we see a lot of numbers, we see a lot of things. I know that at the point that Little River walked in the door, we probably had about a month of operational expenses left, or we would have been shut down, if we would have made it that month. The money that the board had between July of 2015 and the time Little River took us over was going to support a third-party company, CHC, that was operating this hospital, and to pay their employees. Right, wrong, or indifferent, if we didn't sign the deal with Little River when we did, this hospital wouldn't have been there. That would have been the end of this hospital back in October of 2016, as far as I can tell. You guys are more than welcome to correct me. The management team we had in place here, we were turning a corner. We were close to making it. We didn't. That man sitting up there in the front, Jeff Perry, his leadership, his vision, his buy-in to the community is the only reason why we were turning that corner, I can assure you. I've worked in the IT industry for 30 years for a lot of big companies. And he brought that mindset here as far as fiscal responsibility, stewardship, and leadership. If there was a way we could keep him in our fold, it would do us well. He is a part of our community. He's one of us. I know he came from Michigan, but we can forgive him and love him for that. But the man came out here and bought property, improved upon that property, and was just as devastated and as shocked as every single one of us the day that Jeff Madison came in here and said we were shutting down.
I'll read that simple question. The new group that will take over, whether it's Mother Francis. I can't hear you all, I'm sorry. Yes, my name is Walter Stewart. I've lived here my entire life. I'm concerned about the county, the community. But we have to address the indigent care. Now, is this new group going to take over all of this? Or is the county going to be responsible for all that? But when I say this, if somebody comes from Houston or another hospital, they would be great. They're in, and they can't pay. Is this county, is this hospital district going to pick up the bills for all the other districts around that come to this hospital? And is this hospital, whoever takes it over, are they going to be responsible to collect all this money and not be a burden and a debt on the county? I think the hospital needs to operate on its own and not be paid for property tax and all this other stuff, and that people's subsidy raised. Also, the people that are working here, if they take over, they need to be totally responsible and be able to hire the people and not have to hire people that I think they need to start, need to be left alone. That's my opinion. Thank you.
If you had 40 cents tax, you wouldn't have none of it. Now, let's get on in there, that's where it's got to come from.
I'm sorry, would one of you guys on the board clear up the difference between what Christus is doing? They're taking over our clinic. Right now, there's no one currently on slate to take over this hospital. Is that correct? Therefore, the indigent care, while still the responsibility of Houston County, we will be paying another county to service that indigent care. Is that how that works?
That's how that works.
Okay.